have property? Do you have a dream of property one day? You figure you gotta have a to-do list and it's overwhelming. Or do you find your to-do list is getting bigger than your ability to get things done? Didn't somebody once say, to do or not to do? That is the question. I like goals and I like to-do lists. And I also farm. I say a good farmer does three things: knows what to do, when to do, and does them. I mentioned goals, I mentioned to-do. What's the difference between goal and to-do list? You can have one goal and have 10 items on the to-do list for it. So they're not the same. It's a bigger picture to have a goal than it is to have a to-do list. But if you have property or want to have property, how are goals and to-do lists any different? Well, the weather has an important thing to play. It's sunny, it's beautiful. Not the same to do some jobs in full rain. Well, I do like to plant and transplant if it's rainy because there's no concern that the sun is going to dry out the roots. In the same way, there's jobs that you want to do, tasks you want to do if it's sunny. Great. Another point is the season. What did Solomon say? To everything there is a season. Yeah, there is a season. There is a season to graft. There is a season to plant. There is a season to seed. And if that season's coming to an end, it's coming to an end. Maybe you need to adjust the to-do. You may need to be cool with moving a task to next year. The season's over. It's no longer time. Don't push it. If it's the season, it's the season. If it's not, it's not. You may also find that being equipped makes a difference. Maybe you're not equipped. Maybe you don't have the right tool or the right equipment to do a task. In that case, you have to evaluate. Should you hire it out? Should you get it done by someone else rather than you trying? Here's an example. We used to prune and remove branches, take them out of the orchard and put them in the periphery in our hedgerows. That took a lot of time, a lot of effort. It basically doubled the amount of time of pruning just because of handling of branches. Now we get a friend to come. He chops up the branches right in the aisle. It's better for the orchard. It's better overall for us because it just saves so much time. You've got to consider trading time for money where appropriate because of properly being equipped. How do you end up feeling overwhelmed by a to-do list? It's simple. You've got too many things on there all at once. All at once you're looking and I've got 10 things to do. I can't get around to doing them all. That's where the idea of ranking comes in. It's important to rank your to-do list. Not everything is equal. I like to do what I call a walkabout. If I've got a lot of things to do, I just walk around on the property and it allows me to look, hey, is this that I had on the to-do list, is it still appropriate? Is it still the right time? Is it still the right season? Oh, you know what? But I got this has come up and this has come up. But it allows me to take my 10 items on the to-do list and rank. What's the one thing that has to be done today? What's the second one, if I have time? And what's the third? That ranking makes you focus and say, look, if I only get this one, that's the most important one today. I really like Stephen Covey's 4-quadrant way of thinking in terms of organizing what do you have to do. And he divides it into important and urgent. So if you imagine a matrix, is it important and is it urgent? So you can have it's important and it's urgent. Well, you got to get that done first. And the other edge of the spectrum, you could have not important and not urgent. In other words, it's a total waste of your time. Forget that. Don't do it. And then there's the most important, which I love, focus on what is important but not urgent. It's an important task to get done, but there's no urgency of it. The more you can focus on important but not urgent, the better everything will work, because you're not constrained with, I gotta get this done now. Does your to-do list grow faster than you can knock it off? That could be a good thing. It means you're thinking about your project. And when you're thinking about it, it's a good time to reevaluate things, especially reevaluate your infrastructure. Maybe on your property, you need to ask, do I need irrigation? Because you may have a lot of items on the list relating to irrigation. Do I need to keep animals? Because animals tend to jump onto that to-do list. Do I need to have a vegetable garden? You say, oh yeah, I need. Okay, then keep that one on the list. Do I need to prune? That's a good question. Do you need to mow? And mowing is such a time hog, and that's good to evaluate. If you say, do I need to mow? Yes. Then ask yourself, do you need to mow every week? No. Or how much of it do you need to mow every week? Can you have some areas that you mow once a year? Probably. Could you mow every 6 weeks? Probably. Do you see how it can cut down your to-do list by taking time to evaluate your infrastructure, your major decisions of what is taking time on your to-do list? Grass is important to rethink. You think, is there something you could have that's more useful than grass or lawn? Chances are yes. And I like to say that's a good chance and a good opportunity to rethink your whole property perhaps. Look, I used to be a landscape architect, and I worked with a lot of people over the years to get their property to be better. We put together a course called the Magic Model. It's a way to help you rethink your property, and it's the best way I've discovered to work and help people. Take a look at it. Start for free today, because the Magic Model will allow you to question and see your property in a whole new light, especially with grass. Is there something more important than goals and to-do? Absolutely. It's called vision. What's your vision for the property? Do you want more food? The Bible says the people perish for lack of vision. Does that mean they perish, they die? Well, or they just kind of wither in the years go by or the months go by and nothing of substantial happens. That's what can happen with your property. Do you really have a vision for your property? Do you know big picture what you want to do with it? Maybe you want to grow more food like we do. Well, how are you getting there? Your vision is the first focal point. It allows you to focus your goals and then your to-do. That's the order. First your vision, then your goals, and then your to-do. I like to say, you want to zoom in and zoom out. When you zoom in on, a task. These need this. That's a task. Zoom out, the vision allows you to look and see all around. What do I need for my property? What do I need to make it lower maintenance? You got to be able to move back and forth. There's one that's even more important, is what's your mission? Why are you here on earth? What's your calling, if you like? That's an even bigger one than your vision, because within one calling you can have several visions and a whole lot of goals and thousands of to-dos. You don't want to overwhelm you, but that's the breakdown. So if you don't know your mission, you think of it, there's been people since the beginning of time that have sent their young people to do a vision quest. Why? Because the ideal is to know your mission in life, to know your calling at an early age, because it gives you time to accomplish it. My vision for the farm is 1,000 hectares, 1,000 people in 50 countries would adopt the permaculture orchard model to produce food while also encouraging wildlife. That's mine. What's yours? In that, I realized, you know what? I'm not a good farmer. I know what I need to do. I know when I need to do it. I don't always do it. Why? Because over the years, I found my focus has really turned away from directly farming and more on education to reach that vision and to attain that. And that's okay. What it's allowed me to do is realize that I got to focus on low maintenance. Why? So that the farm doesn't eat up all my time. Turns out a lot of people love low maintenance. That's why we did the maintenance course, because you could spend crazy amount of time on maintenance and your to-do list can get really long unless you focus, and you have to focus on your maintenance. Which ones do you really need to do? What do you need to rethink? What do you need to do when? Those are all important points. And I'm telling you, you could have a much shorter to-do list if you reorient your project on low maintenance. Another important point is momentum. If I let this go, it has a certain momentum. I was really fortunate in high school to have a geography teacher who taught us that starting is 50% of the work done. And when you're a kid, you think, yeah. But he was absolutely right. Starting creates a momentum. That momentum, and I've always said, the more I do, the more I do. The less I do, the less I do. It's that momentum. If you want something to be done, give it to someone who's busy. Why? Because they have good momentum. I rather do something, even though it's the wrong thing to do, than to say, oh no, I'm not doing anything. Why? Because it's a negative momentum. The less I do, the less I do. And in fact, from spring to fall, I get really busy. There's a lot of things to do. Season changes. Wintertime, I get into that less I do, less I do. And I found that as I get older, it's a lot harder to go from not doing to doing. Maybe your property is not where you live, or your hopeful property, there'll be a time where you won't live there, or maybe never, like I don't live on the farm. That can be a big advantage because it gives you think time. My drive to and from is a chance to go through my to-do list and think, do I want kiwi? Yeah. How can I grow kiwi the simplest way possible? And so on and so on. It's what I said before, you zoom in, zoom out. Focus on a task and think back, should I even do that thing or not? Vacations are good too. Any chance you can have to get away from your property is positive. Even a day off is already useful because it allows a bit of time to think. You must get away from your to-do list. You must be able to zoom out. I remember a few years ago, I remember the feeling of being in a fork in the road. Have you ever had that in your life where it's like, I got two decisions. I could focus on learning about sprays. We had a 4,000 tree organic apple orchard, and I could focus on learning all about the sprays and when to spray and what to spray and the equipment to spray. Or I could focus on what could I do to redesign the orchard so I don't have to focus on spraying. That was a much better decision in the end than to focus on something that would get me on a treadmill. Are you on a treadmill? Maybe you're listening to this and you're on a literal treadmill, but you're a treadmill of to-dos. Get off the treadmill.